The elevator didn't scream. It sighed, a soft metallic groan. Then silence. No alarms, no shaking. Just a sudden stop. Between floors. Lights flickered once, then held. 5 people inside, all strangers, all tired. Before we move on, comment with your location. Please like, share, and subscribe for more stories. All heading somewhere they thought was safe. The doors stayed shut. Steel on steel. No mercy. Someone laughed nervously. Someone checked their phone. No signal. Someone pressed the button. Nothing. Again. Nothing. The building was old, government-funded, renovated too many times. Wires behind walls nobody trusted anymore. The air felt heavier, thicker, like the elevator itself was holding its breath. Seconds passed. Then minutes. Sweat formed. Palms damp. Eyes drifting. That's when it happened. A sound. Not mechanical. Not electrical. Human. A quiet knock. From inside the wall. 3 taps. Slow. Deliberate. Everyone froze. The knocking came again. Closer this time. From behind the control panel. No one spoke. No one moved. A woman stepped back. Her heel scraped metal. Too loud. The knocking stopped. Silence returned. But it wasn't empty. It felt watched, observed, measured. Then the lights dimmed. Just a little. Enough to change everything. The elevator jolted. Not down, not up, sideways, impossible. The walls vibrated. A low hum filled the cabin, like chanting without words. Someone started crying, quiet, contained. The air smelled different now, old, dusty, like a basement no one had opened in years. A man reached for the emergency phone, pressed it, held it. Static answered. Then a voice. Not the operator, not human enough, distorted, flat. "You are not all supposed to be here." The line went dead. Panic bloomed, hands shaking, breaths shallow, eyes darting to the corners. The corners felt wrong, too deep, too dark. The knocking returned, faster, angrier, from everywhere at once. Then, the elevator lurched, hard, lights out. Total darkness. Someone screamed. Someone fell. Metal scraped metal. A door inside the wall slid open. Not the elevator doors, something else, hidden. Forgotten. A space behind the walls. Cold air rushed in. The smell intensified. Rot, mold, time. A shape moved in the darkness. Tall, thin, unnatural. It reached out. Fast. Too fast. Hands grabbed, pulled, one by one. No screams now, just choking gasps. Dragged into the dark. The door slammed shut. The lights snapped back on. The elevator stood still, perfectly calm, perfectly normal. One person remained. Alone. Breathing. Shaking. Alive. The elevator dinged. Soft. Polite. As if nothing had happened. It descended. Doors opened. Lobby. Bright. Clean. Safe. People waiting. Security guards. Coffee cups. Phones ringing. The survivor stepped out. Face blank. Eyes empty. Hands trembling. They asked what happened. What went wrong. How many were inside. The survivor opened their mouth, tried to speak. Nothing came out. Just one thought, burning, relentless. The elevator didn't malfunction, it chose. They wrapped a blanket around the survivor, too thin to help, too light to matter, hands still shaking, eyes locked on the elevator doors. As if they might open again, as if something might follow. Security asked questions, simple ones. How many were inside? What floor? What time? The survivor nodded, shook their head, tried again. The words wouldn't line up. They never do after something like that. Police arrived, lights flashing, blue, red, cold. They sealed the elevator, yellow tape, official, reassuring, useless. Maintenance blamed a power fault, a cable issue, old wiring, the usual lies people use when they don't want to dig. But the survivor knew. This wasn't mechanical. This was intentional. At the hospital, doctors checked vitals. Pulse fast, blood pressure high, no visible injuries. They asked about hallucinations, stress response, claustrophobia. The survivor stared at the ceiling, counted cracks, ignored the questions because one detail wouldn't leave: the voice. "You were not all supposed to be here." That sentence had weight, meaning, like a rule had been broken, like a list had been disturbed. News didn't cover it, not really. A short article. Elevator incident causes panic. 1 injured. No names, no missing persons mentioned. Families started calling, a husband, a daughter, a co-worker. 5 people went in, only 1 walked out. But the system said otherwise. Records showed only 1 badge scan, 1 entry, 1 exit. Security footage glitched, skipped frames, timestamps looping, faces blurred, as if the building itself refused to remember. The survivor went home, couldn't sleep. Closed eyes meant darkness, meant knocking. 3 taps, always 3. Walls creaked at night, pipes hummed, elevators echoed in the distance. Every sound felt like a warning. They started researching the building, its history, blueprints buried online, forums, old PDFs, forgotten inspection reports. Something strange appeared, a renovation. Decades ago, 1 floor removed from public access. Listed as structural redundancy, a lie wrapped in technical language. Elevators rerouted, shafts sealed, or so they claimed. Old maintenance logs told a different story: complaints, unexplained stops. Voices heard between floors, cold drafts from sealed panels. 1 technician quit, another disappeared. No follow-up, no investigation. The survivor's hands trembled scrolling, because the dates lined up: every incident, every complaint, every disappearance, 5 at a time, always 5, except once, years ago. 4 went missing, 1 survived. The survivor's breath caught. A pattern, a cycle, a selection. They found an old interview buried deep. A janitor, retired, shaky voice. He said the building was hungry, that it was built over something never meant to be sealed, that the elevators weren't transport, they were gates. The interview cut abruptly. Uploader deleted, account gone. That night, the knocking returned. Not in the walls, in the survivor's head. 3 taps, slow, patient, like it knew they were awake, like it knew they remembered. The survivor sat up, heart racing, phone buzzing, a notification from an unknown number. No text, just a photo, an elevator panel, old, rusty, scratched, and a message beneath it. You were not chosen to escape. You were chosen to tell. The survivor swallowed, hands cold, because they finally understood. This wasn't over. It had never ended. And the building was waiting for the next ride. The file wouldn't open at first. Corrupted, encrypted, protected by something old, not modern security. Something crude, almost ritualistic. The survivor tried again. Different device, different network. 3:17 a.m. The hour when buildings feel awake. The file opened. No warning, no animation. Just text, black background, white letters, a header. Sub-level designation, F1, unregistered. The survivor's chest tightened. They scrolled. The building wasn't supposed to have a sub-level. Official records showed basement parking only. But this was different. F1 wasn't underground. It was between, a structural anomaly, a space that existed because engineers forced it to. A floor hidden inside the shaft system itself. Not above, not below. Suspended, like a wound held open. The report mentioned a discovery during construction. Workers broke through concrete, found a chamber, old, hand-carved, no blueprints, no city records, symbols etched into stone, not language, not decoration, warnings. The city ordered it sealed, too expensive to investigate. Too dangerous to acknowledge. But sealing wasn't enough. Things still moved. Air still traveled. Sound still echoed. So they designed elevators differently. Slower, heavier, with fail-safes that weren't fail-safes at all, triggers, conditions, If the wrong combination occurred, wait, time, number of occupants, the elevator would stop, exactly where F1 waited. The survivor's mouth went dry. 5 occupants, always 5. The report continued. They called it pressure balancing. A lie. It was feeding. Every disappearance listed, dates, names, redacted, except one note scribbled at the bottom of a scanned page. Handwritten, shaky. It learns. Another message came through, same number, another photo. This time clearer. A door, not metal, stone, covered in scratches. Something had tried to claw its way out, or in. Text followed. You've seen the file. Now you understand the price? The survivor typed back, hands unsteady. Why me? The reply came instantly. Because you looked at it. The others screamed. You watched. Memory hit. Hard. The moment the door opened inside the wall, the others panicked, pulled away, fought. The survivor froze, eyes wide, silent, observing, learning. The thing noticed. The survivor slammed the laptop shut. Too late. The knocking returned. This time from the floor. 3 taps. Beneath the bed, slow, patient, like a countdown. The survivor backed away, heart pounding, phone buzzing again, final message. You can end the cycle, or replace it. Outside, sirens wailed. Somewhere nearby, another elevator, another stop, another silence. The survivor understood now. Justice wasn't coming from the city, or the police, or the building owners who buried the reports. Justice would require exposure, light, risk, sacrifice. The survivor opened the laptop again, started copying everything, every file, every name, every date. If the truth couldn't save them, it would burn the lie down with it. The upload stalled at 93%, always 93. The survivor watched the bar freeze, laptop fan screaming, lights flickering in the apartment, the same hum, low, familiar, hungry. The building across the street had an elevator, glass shaft, moving up, down, up. The survivor closed the curtains, too late. The knocking came again, not from the walls, from the screen. 3 soft clicks through the speakers, like fingernails on glass. The upload jumped to 94, then dropped. Error message. Files corrupted, deleted, every folder empty. The laptop shut itself down. Black screen, reflection staring back. The survivor's own face looked unfamiliar, older, hollowed, marked, phone buzzed, news alert. City temporarily closes government building after safety review. Too fast, too clean. Someone was already containing it. Another alert followed. 5 missing persons reports filed overnight. Different building, same city, same hour, same number. The survivor's knees gave out. They sat on the floor, back against the wall, breathing shallow. This wasn't just one building. It was a design, a template, copied, approved, spread. The voice returned. Not through the phone, inside the head, calm, almost kind. You thought truth was enough. Truth feeds it too. Images flooded in, blueprints stamped approved. Council meetings, developers shaking hands, settlements paid. Families silenced. Every missing person turned into clerical error. Every stop blamed on system lag. The thing between floors had learned something else. It had learned protection. The survivor's phone rang. Unknown number. They answered. A woman's voice, low, tired. I rode the elevator tonight. The survivor's chest tightened. She kept talking. They told me it malfunctioned. Her breath shook. But I saw the door. A pause. I saw the space. The survivor whispered. You came back. No, she said. I was let go. Silence. Then, I work for the city. The survivor closed their eyes. Of course she did. She explained. There were more files. Physical ones, paper, locked away. Basements beneath basements. Places the elevators never reached. The building couldn't erase those. Not yet. They made a plan. Fast. Dangerous. meet before dawn. Different building, stairs only, no elevators, no shafts. The survivors stood, grabbed their coat. As they reached the door, the knocking returned. 3 taps from inside the hallway, not their apartment. The hallway lights flickered, a smell crept in. Dust, mold, time. The survivor froze. The thing was closer now, angrier. The price of resistance. They opened the door. The hallway looked normal, too normal. At the far end, the elevator doors, open, waiting. The survivor didn't step inside. They turned, ran for the stairs. Behind them, metal screamed, not moving, protesting. The building hated being denied. Outside, dawn cracked the sky, pale, fragile. The survivor breathed cold air, for the first time since the stop. Somewhere, deep in concrete and steel, something howled. And the city felt it. The archives were colder than expected. Not underground, not exactly. A converted records facility, concrete walls, no windows, fluorescent lights that hummed like nerves. Stairs only. 4 flights down. Every step echoed. The woman from the city waited at the bottom, pale, focused, holding a key card like it weighed too much. She didn't smile, didn't apologize, just nodded. Inside, shelves stretched forever, boxes stacked by decade, by department, by disaster. She pulled one free, dropped it onto a metal table. Dust rose, coughed into the air. The label read, Elevator Safety, Exceptions. Inside were memos, signatures, red stamps, words like containment, acceptable loss, structural compromise. The survivor's hands shook flipping pages. Photos fell out, old ones, black and white, workers posing beside a carved stone doorway. The same scratches, the same symbols. One worker circled in pen. Disappeared, 1974. Another file, another building, same floor designation, F1, different address, same outcome. The woman spoke quietly. They knew it couldn't be destroyed, so they learned how to feed it. The survivor swallowed. And the people? Collateral, she said. No emotion, just fact. A siren wailed above ground, not distant, close. The lights flickered, once, twice. A low hum crept through the walls. The survivor froze. No, they whispered. It's daytime. The woman's eyes widened. She felt it too. The building across the street, its elevator stopped. Then another. Office towers, hospitals, apartments. The city stuttered. Phones lit up. Alerts everywhere. Elevator malfunction. Please remain calm. But panic doesn't read instructions. A box on the table slid. Just an inch. Against gravity. The woman backed away. It's not waiting anymore. The survivor understood. Exposure had starved it, so it adapted. It no longer needed secrecy. It needed scale. The survivor grabbed the files, stuffed them into a bag. We go public, now! The woman hesitated, then nodded. They ran. Stairs, stairs, stairs. Outside, chaos, sirens, crowds, shouting. An office worker sobbed on the curb. My husband was inside. Another screamed into a phone. Answer me! The survivor climbed onto a bench, raised their voice, shouted over the noise. They told the truth, all of it. F1, the cycle, the feeding. People stared. Some laughed, some recorded, some went silent. Then the files went live. Leaked, mirrored, shared. The city tried to pull them down. Too late. The truth spread faster than fear, and fear spread fast. By nightfall, the first arrest. A former developer, then another, a council member, an inspector. Names fell like dominoes. The survivor watched from a distance, exhausted, empty. Victorious? No. Because the elevators were still stopping, one by one. The woman stood beside them, voice low. We broke the lie. But not the thing, the survivor said. She nodded. The ground trembled, deep, distant, like something shifting its weight, preparing. The survivor looked at the skyline, every tower a mouth, every shaft a throat. The city had been built around it. Now it was awake. The survivor stood at the edge of the city. Night again. It always came back to night. Helicopters hovered. Cameras rolled. News anchors spoke fast and wrong. They kept saying malfunction. They kept avoiding the word choice. The survivor's phone vibrated nonstop. Messages, threats, thanks, warnings. One message stood out. No number, no ID, just text. You opened the door. The survivor felt it immediately. The pull, not fear, recognition. They followed it. Back to the building where it started. Police tape everywhere, barricades, lights. But no one guarded the elevator. No one ever did, because no one believed it mattered. The survivor slipped inside. The lobby was empty. Too empty. The elevator doors stood open, waiting. Inside, the panel had changed. New button, no label, just a faint symbol, the same one carved into stone decades ago. The survivor stepped in, the doors closed. No sound, no music. The elevator moved, not up, not down, sideways. The air thickened, the hum returned. Familiar, almost welcoming. The doors opened again, not to a floor, to a chamber, stone walls, scratches. Names etched deep, hundreds, thousands, the missing, the forgotten. The elevator had never been transport. It was selection. It took 5, because 5 created pressure, fear, panic, resistance, enough to open the door. But only one could leave. One witness, one carrier, one reminder. The survivor understood now. The thing didn't want secrecy, it wanted memory. The survivor stepped forward. The air moved. A shape shifted. Massive, patient, old. It pressed against the edges of the room, not attacking, waiting. The survivor spoke, not aloud, inside, no more. The chamber shook. Images flooded the survivor's mind. Cities rising, elevators multiplying, people vanishing unnoticed, the cost of convenience. The thing had grown with humanity, fed by shortcuts, by silence, by acceptable loss. The survivor reached into the bag, pulled out a small device, a transmitter, linked to every live feed still running, every camera still watching. The survivor placed it on the floor, turned back. The thing recoiled, not in fear, in rage. The survivor smiled, tired, certain. You don't get to hide anymore. The elevator doors slammed shut. Above ground, screens everywhere went black. Then came back. Live, the chamber, the names, the truth. The city watched. The world watched. The ground trembled. Buildings groaned. Elevators stopped. Then they opened, empty. No survivors, no witnesses, just silence. The building collapsed inward, not violently, like a breath finally released. By morning, the survivor was gone. No body, no explanation, just a final message broadcast across every channel. Only one ever comes back. This time, it wasn't the building. The city rebuilt. Slower, wiser, stairs prioritized, shafts redesigned. But sometimes, late at night, an elevator hums too softly, stops too long, and someone remembers.